Hi, everyone. Today I want to share my experience with robotic affirming as someone who doesn't think in words or have loud thoughts regularly. Robotic affirming can be very helpful when applied correctly, but if you're not used to thinking in concrete sentences, it might be challenging. I want to share some pitfalls I encountered with robotic affirmations that put me in a worse state of mind and how you can avoid them. When I first learned about manifestation, it seemed like the majority of consistent success stories came from people using robotic affirmations. So I decided to give it a try. However, for me, there was never a clear correlation between affirming for a long time and my desires showing up. On top of that, my overall state of being got worse every time I tried affirming for something I deeply wanted. Back then, I didn't understand why I couldn't get it to work consistently. But now I have a better idea. Before I knew about manifestation, I rarely thought in complete sentences. My thoughts were more abstract, not structured in words, concrete images, or scenes. So when I started robotic affirmations, it was a stark contrast to how I naturally process things. I felt like I was forcing constant chatter into my mind, which had previously been much quieter. This added noise made me feel agitated, and I fell into a negative cycle. Robotic affirming, fighting my own thoughts, then checking the 3D to see if I could finally stop. Since I wasn't used to having so much mental chatter, my brain tried to make sense of it, and its default interpretation was that I was trying to convince myself of something, which only created more internal resistance. If you're experiencing this, I'd recommend a different approach to affirming. The first step is understanding that you're not affirming to change yourself into someone you're not. The reason affirmations may feel forced, frustrating, or triggering is that your brain sees them as something extra and assumes you're trying to convince yourself. If you naturally don't think in sentence-like thoughts, affirmations might feel unnatural because they aren't something you would do if you already were the version of yourself that has what you want. So as you affirm, you're actually reinforcing the identity of someone who doesn't have it and is trying to force themselves into believing they do. This is exhausting and unsustainable. So what is affirming really about? It's based on the understanding that you already are everything. You are all possibilities. You are not stuck as an undesired version of yourself, and you can declare yourself as any version you choose in this moment, regardless of what's currently showing up in the 3D. The reason trying to convince yourself even comes up is because you see yourself as a limited human being who only knows their past story. But that's not the truth. The truth is, you are all versions of you right now. There is no pretending or convincing needed. You're simply choosing to experience a different part of yourself. The 3D is just one small reflection of you, and you don't have to take it as evidence of who you are. With this understanding, I now resonate more with the mindset of affirming as a celebration, affirming from the place of already being that version of myself. Before affirming, I check my foundation. Do I understand that I already embody this version, and I'm affirming to celebrate it as mine now? Locking in this mindset prevents my brain from feeling agitated or questioning why I'm doing this. Instead, I see affirmations as joyful recognition of my reality. Because why wouldn't I celebrate something that's already mine? For desires where I tend to slip into the convincing myself mindset, I avoid robotic affirming and instead do more focused affirmation sessions where I can catch and correct myself if I start drifting into resistance. I also recommend using robotic affirmations for beliefs that you already accept but sometimes need reminders of. Things like, there is nothing outside of me. The 3D has no power except the power I give it. Circumstances have no inherent meaning. You can repeat these as statements of fact, reinforcing your foundational understanding. You might be surprised how much reminding yourself of these simple truths helps you stay stable and unshaken in your manifestations. You can even apply this approach to specific desires if you resonate with the idea that affirmations are simply reminding yourself of what's already true for you. To summarize, before you start robotic affirming, ask yourself honestly, are you affirming from a place of trying to convince yourself, or are you affirming from the identity of someone who already has it? Whether you affirm to celebrate, remind yourself of your ultimate identity, or simply enjoy the truth of your new story, it doesn't matter, as long as you're affirming from rather than toward that identity. That's all I wanted to share today. Thank you for watching until the end. I know this video helped you in some way. If this perspective resonates with you, give this video a like and subscribe for more of my random thoughts on manifestation.